Have you ever looked up at the solar panels on a neighbor's roof and thought, where does all that extra power actually go on a sunny day? For, gosh, over a century, our power grid has been this massive, top-down, one-way system. But that is all starting to change, big time. We are standing right on the edge of a revolution that's putting the power grid, and I mean this quite literally, back into our hands. I want you to just picture this for a second. It's a bright, sunny afternoon. Your solar panels are cranking, just generating way more electricity than you could possibly use. Now your neighbor, on the other hand, they're working from home, their AC is on, they need that power. So what if, instead of selling your extra back to the big utility company for pennies on the dollar, you could sell it directly to your neighbor for a price that's fair, a price that's better for you and actually cheaper for them? This isn't some far-off science fiction dream. This is the future of energy, and it's called peer-to-peer trading. So to really get why this is such a game changer, we have to first take a look at the system we've got right now. For more than 100 years, the electric grid has been built around this really simple, but honestly increasingly outdated idea. It was designed to push power in only one direction, and, well, that's creating some pretty major headaches in the 21st century.
Yeah, this quote from some of the leading researchers in the field, it really hits the nail on the head. What they're saying is that the explosive growth of stuff like rooftop solar, electric vehicles, and home batteries, what the industry calls distributed energy resources, or DERs, is creating substantial obstacles for our old-school grid. You see, these new technologies just weren't part of the original blueprint. The grid simply wasn't built for regular people or generating power, and energy is flowing in two directions.
The one-way street analogy is honestly perfect. You've got this huge, centralized power plant, usually miles and miles away, churning out electricity. That power then travels down this one-way street of transmission lines, and eventually it gets to your house. You're just at the end of the line, a passive consumer. There's no off-ramp for you to send power back up the street or share it with the house next door. It's an inefficient system, and it's just not designed for the modern world of renewable energy. But here's where things get really interesting. A brand new player is showing up on the scene, and they are completely rewriting the rules of the game. This is not your typical consumer. No, this is someone who is both a producer and a consumer of energy. Say hello to the prosumer. The term prosumer, it's just a mashup of producer and consumer, and it perfectly describes this new role. As the cost of solar panels and home batteries keeps dropping, more and more of us are basically becoming our own personal power plants. We're generating clean energy right on our own rooftops, using what we need, and very often we've got a surplus left over. This one thing, this simple fact, fundamentally changes that old one-way street into a dynamic, two-way superhighway of energy exchange. All right, so what's in a prosumer's toolkit? What do you need to get started? It's actually pretty straightforward. First, of course, you've got the rooftop solar panels to generate all that lovely green electricity. Second, and this is crucial, a battery storage system. Think of a Tesla Powerwall or something similar. This lets you store all that excess energy you make during the day so you can use it at night. Or, as we're about to see, sell it when the price is right. Third, you've got the smart meter. This is the brain of the whole operation, meticulously tracking every watt of energy flowing in and out of your home. And finally, you're still connected to the main grid. That gives you stability and acts as a backup to buy or sell power whenever you need to. So, armed with these tools, prosumers are no longer just passive customers at the end of that one-way street. They become active, powerful participants in a brand new kind of market, a local, decentralized marketplace where neighbors can actually trade energy directly with one another. Peer-to-peer or P2P energy trading, it's exactly what it sounds like. It lets prosumers completely bypass the big utility and sell their extra solar power directly to other people in their community. This transforms a quiet neighborhood from just a collection of consumers into this vibrant local energy market. And that creates a power system that's more efficient, more resilient, and way more focused on the community.
Okay, so let's walk through how a trade like this actually works in real time. It's simpler than you think. First, our prosumer is generating more power than they're using. Easy enough. Step 2, they hop on an app and basically say, hey, I've got 5 kilowatt hours of clean energy for sale. Then this trading platform, it acts like a matchmaker. It automatically finds a nearby consumer who's opted in to buy local green energy. The physical electrons then flow across the existing local grid from the seller to the buyer. And finally, the payment is settled automatically, directly between the two neighbors. It's clean, it's simple, and it's incredibly efficient.
So who wins here? Well, this creates what you might call a win-win-win scenario. For the prosumers, the sellers, they earn way more for their extra energy than the super low rates, called feed-in tariffs, that utilities usually offer. For consumers, the buyers, they get to purchase clean, locally sourced power for less than the standard price they'd pay the utility. And believe it or not, the grid itself wins too. When local generation meets local demand, it reduces the strain on the huge transmission network and helps keep the whole system balanced and stable. Everybody benefits. Now, I know this all sounds fantastic, but for a system like this to work, with thousands, maybe millions of tiny transactions happening every minute between neighbors, a huge question comes up. How do you manage it all? How do you keep track of who owes what to whom, securely and automatically, without a massive company sitting in the middle taking a cut? Well, the answer lies in a truly revolutionary technology, blockchain. And this really is the core challenge, isn't it? The traditional model we all know relies on a central utility to be that trusted third party. They're the ones who measure everything, they send out the bills, they handle all the money. But a true peer-to-peer market needs a whole new kind of trust. It needs a system that's totally transparent, completely automated, and can't be controlled by any single person or company. It needs a digital trust machine. Okay, this is where blockchain steps in, and this diagram gives us a great bird's eye view of how it provides that trust. So when someone, in our case a prosumer, wants to sell some energy, that transaction is broadcast to a network of computers. These computers, or nodes, all work together to validate the transaction using complex algorithms. Once it's verified, that transaction gets bundled up with a bunch of others into a new block of data. And then, and this is the key part, that new block is cryptographically changed to the one before it, creating a permanent, unchangeable record. The transaction is done, and the shared record book, the ledger, is updated for everyone on the network to see. The real magic that makes this process so seamless for energy trading is something called a smart contract. You can think of a smart contract as a digital vending machine or a self-enforcing agreement. The rules of the deal, the price per kilowatt hour, the amount of energy sold, are all written directly into code that lives on the blockchain. So the moment the smart meter confirms that the energy has been delivered, bam, the smart contract automatically executes the payment from the consumer's digital wallet to the prosumers. No invoices, no chasing payments, no middlemen needed. It just happens. So let's just put it side by side, the old world versus the new. A utility company uses a centralized ledger. One company controls it. That makes it a single point of failure. And let's be honest, it's not very transparent to the rest of us. A blockchain, on the other hand, is a distributed ledger. A copy is shared among all the participants. This makes it incredibly secure. You'd have to hack thousands of computers at the exact same time to alter it. It's resilient, because there's no central server to shut down. And most importantly, it's transparent and immutable. Every transaction is recorded forever for everyone to see. And that's what creates that rock-solid digital trust. Now, I know you might be thinking, this all sounds great in a lab, but does it actually work in the real world? The answer is a big, resounding yes. This isn't just a futuristic concept anymore. It's already happening. Pilot projects all over the globe are proving that blockchain-enabled P2P energy trading isn't just possible, it delivers some absolutely incredible results. Let's look at a few. Let's head over to New York. One of the earliest and most famous pioneers in this space was the Brooklyn Microgrid. Starting way back in 2016, this project proved that regular people in a dense city environment could use a blockchain platform to create their very own local energy market. They were literally selling excess solar power from the rooftops of their brownstones to their neighbors down the street. It was a groundbreaking proof of concept that really captured the world's imagination and showed everyone what was possible. Now check this out. Over in the port of Rotterdam, a project called Distro used a combination of blockchain and AI to totally optimize local energy trading. The results were just stunning. Not only did everyone get better prices for buying and selling energy, but get this, the participants were able to pay off their initial investment in solar panels and batteries a full 3 years faster than they would have under the old system. That's a powerful financial incentive. That's real money back in people's pockets. Years earlier. And then there's Switzerland. A project called Quartier Strom set up a fully automated blockchain trading system for a local neighborhood. And the results? They were able to double the amount of locally generated solar power that was actually used right there within the community. Their local self-sufficiency shot up to 34%, and their self-consumption rate hit 62%. That is a massive leap in energy independence, all powered by this incredible technology. So we are truly moving from a world of centralized one-way power to a future of decentralized, community-based energy networks. Blockchain is that invisible layer of trust that's making it all possible, creating a more efficient, more resilient, and honestly, a more democratic energy system for everyone. It really is putting the power back in our hands. The question is no longer if this will happen, But when? So I'll leave you with this. When your neighborhood becomes its own power plant, who will you trade with first? So